Hello, welcome along to Terrace TV TikTok. I'm Toby, your host, and with us tonight we've got Connor Ross. Connor, how we doing?
I'm all good. How are you?
No bad, mate, no bad. First of all, thanks very much, Paul, for taking the time to come onto the podcast. This is a wee bit different. I know all the Celtic podcasts out there are all talking about the team and talking about what's happening and how they're playing. We will speak a wee bit about that, don't worry, but ultimately this is about Celtic, what Celtic is to you and how did you get involved in Celtic. So let's, before we get right into it, mate, tell us a wee bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, and how you came about to be following the famous Glasgow Celtic.
So, obviously, for sunny Ayrshire, ended up, my father hated football. So, my mum sent me to my grand's one weekend and I come back for head to toe covered in Celtic gear. So, ever since then, it's been green and white, and my two wee brothers are the exact same. So, it was my good old gran that seen me to the light. Converted as I. So I've got her to thank for all the glory days I've been getting recently anyway. So I've been quite spoiled in my lifetime. So I've got her to thank for that.
What would you be? So what do you think? If your dad didn't like football, what was he into? What was his sport of choice, or was he into sport?
Pool, but that's about it. I couldn't play anything. So football took over for me. So I've got my gran to thank for all that, and my mum, to be fair, my mum as well, but mainly my gran.
So coming first, it must be hard being a Tim. Obviously, you're in a, I would say, a minority down there still. Is it still a minority?
It's not too bad, to be fair. It's not too bad. There is quite a few. It's not as bad as obviously the rep it gets. Don't get me wrong. There is a few tunes that you meant to maybe run through, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad.
So obviously you're from Galston, but obviously you go to the games. How do you get up to the games then?
So most weeks we'll drive up, but sometimes we'll obviously go up in the bus, the Valley Verde bus for Galston. So we'll go up in that. If a few of you obviously want a good cargo in that, we'll all jump on that.
Where did the name come from? Valley Verde, what's that?
We just want to. To be honest, I don't even know where it came from. To be honest, we were all just a group of boys and lasses, to be fair as well, that went to started going to the games, and we just wanted a name. So we ended up, I think the group chat get named that one night, and it just stuck. So in fact, actually, tell a lie, I think it was after the Real Madrid game. I'm sure we played them, and it was a big. No, it wasn't Madrid. Was it Lazio? Sure, we played Lazio, and it was a big banner. And it was the day where it said Verde on it. I'm sure.
Aye.
So I think that stuck. Aye. So I'm sure it stuck after that night. So after the group chat get named, and then that's just obviously we're on with that, get a banner made, and aye, that's pretty much it.
So obviously, growing up, Celtic fan, what's your first memory, maybe Celtic Park or seeing Celtic, where you can actually remember?
So
vividly.
First time I was in Celtic Park, but actually I think it might have been with you. It was a training day. I'm sure it was a training day during pre-season. We went up, and that's the kind of first memory I've got, being inside Celtic Park. And then my first game was against Aberdeen. I think we won 3-0. Up with Uncle James and John and that. And I'm sure Aberdeen 3-0. I'm sure that was my first game.
Really? What did you think when you walked to Celtic Park? The first time you go to the ground when there's a game on, you see the crowd, you feel the atmosphere. What did you think of it? How did you feel at that time?
I just felt buzzing. Yeah, I used to obviously get all excited and that, and the build up, and I just couldn't wait when you run the concourse and you used to walk out and you went up the stairs and you used to just see the pitch straight away. It's you can't describe it for somebody that doesn't like football. You can't describe that feeling. So it's quite something.
Do you still get that? Do you still get that wee buzz when you go up? And
I do. I get the buzz now when I take my boy. I get the buzz for him more than I do myself now, because it's obviously it's him that's enjoying it more, and it's him that's getting the buzz, and I look forward to taking him to the games now, so he can share the good times that I've obviously been fortunate enough to see.
Yeah, I love it. I love no matter, but see wherever you go. I very rarely miss a game. You know that yourself. If I do miss again, it's a total oversight on the missus' part for booking something, or some lunatic who goes to the games gets married on that day. Things like that. So these people need to take a wee look at themselves when they're booking their weddings and their dates for holidays.
I know, even Scott Brown chinned me for that.
Well, that's right, you did in a video, mate. But I still get I don't get the big feeling that I used to get when I was a wee. I mean, I was away back. Danny McGrain was playing. You know what I mean? When my first game in that 85. So that feeling, you never get that back. Apart from when there's maybe like a last minute goal, or you've won the cup, you've won the league. The feelings are still there, man. For people to say that, I don't know how people can just go there and sit and not get passionate about the game and get angry and upset. And people always say, I'll go home for the game and Suzanne will be like, "Oh, Celtic win again." I'm like, "No, we get beat." She's like,
"Aye."
But you're not upset or angry. So I'm inside them. Aye. I mean, but I'm not expressing that to people because it's my feelings.
Aye.
I mean,
yep.
Watching Celtic for me it's brilliant, mate. It's like you miss a couple of games and you're working, you're trying to catch here. Maybe I was at Leeds one time and I was trying to get back up the road for the game. You know what I mean? So much so that I spoke to my boss at that meeting and said, "Jason, can I get the 3 o'clock train, mate, so I can get to the European game tonight?" And he's like, "Aye, no bother." And it was the night we put the disco lights on. You know what I mean? And it was just all these things. It's just you tend to just forget about other things, mate. You try to book things around about Celtic. You know what I mean? You're probably like me. You try to book a holiday in the closed season. You want to go here in the closed season. You want to do this in the closed, or winter break. I will not play an MD, or I go that weekend because that's international break. Things like that. You know what I mean? So, football takes out your life, man. It does. It's a big, massive part. And then obviously with the family, we've got the big family and all that as well. And massive amounts are obviously that way in time with Celtic. But what I always get and all it. Like seeing all you, seeing like the younger generation, like we same with you with Aidan, just watching them get it. They start everything they say. It's just second nature. It's something, or they'll do something and they'll react to it. They'll say like, I remember I used to just run on the street. Somebody would like kick that boy, and I'd be like, "Oh," like, shout a name as I was kicking it, Davy Proven or something. Now something stupid like that, and or if the Waynes they'll do something that's even when you hear a song, mate, you probably do this yourself. You hear a track and it's being a player's
goal tune or something like that.
Yeah, but it's just mad. But I love it. The football's great, and this is the thing for me that people don't understand. People always moan about tickets at the games, right? But it's very, very hard for the next generation, the Celtic fans, to get tickets. Stadiums need to be. They don't need to be. They should be bigger, but they can't be bigger because they're not going to get filled every week, mate. They're not going to have 80,000 every single week. I mean. There's no need for Kilmarnock to have a 45,000 seater stadium unless they're playing Celtic or other team, bigger teams like that come to it. But for me, growing up, watching Celtic, going to the games, taking it in, wearing my strip, all these different things are factors in your life. What would you say, like you said there, Aberdeen was your first game, what is your first memory of your favourite player? Who would be your favourite player when you were growing up?
I love Boric, Arthur Boric. I thought he was just another man. I used to love when he ran to the goal and he blessed his cell, and obviously it used to wind up the other mob and all. So anytime I was out playing with my pals, that's what I would just run out, win goals, and obviously reenact that. And then I would say he was my first kind of mainstay, a favourite player. I'd say was him. Boric.
That's pretty hard and different as well because goalkeepers don't usually get that accolade unless you're a goalie yourself.
No, and I wasn't. When I played football, I was a striker. So for somebody like that, obviously to get that grasp as a fan favourite as a goalie, you're right. It's hard to do, but he you know yourself, man. He did.
It's the way you conducted yourself on and off the park. You know what I mean? And the way he put his heart and his soul. He still looks fighting fit. You know what I mean? I seen him not that long ago. And I'm like, he could still play football. Looked after himself.
You see him that
way. Very confident in his ability. Aye.
He looks as if he's not even aged. You know what I mean? So
that's it, mate. That's it.
That was him.
So going through, obviously, Boric was your time as that goalie. What other players excited you then in that period of time? Because Celtic had no bad squad through the period of time.
So, well, McDonald, I like Scott McDonald, but always say now, obviously the older I got, obviously helicopter Sunday, I never remembered that. So I always say now, see if I was that this age now, I would have hated him when he signed. Know what I mean? Yeah. But he was just a wee guy. When I was a wee guy, he was a goal scorer, wasn't he? So it was him obviously naturally you like, and then obviously kind of past that era, getting into maybe obviously you don't want to talk about Tony Mowbray's era, but after that you're looking at obviously Lennon coming in again, or for the first time, sorry, and then he brings in basically a full new team, and you're talking like obviously Charlie Mulgrew, Gary Hooper, Samaras, well Strachey brought in Samaras, didn't he? But players like that, Gary Hooper, I thought he was brilliant.
Hoops was good. He was very good good finisher.
Big Sammy, I know. Big Samaras. He was hot and cold, man. I really the up and Dingwall didn't suit him, but obviously a Champions League night against Barcelona, he was right up for it. So
mate, he's got. I remember at Kilmarnock one time. I'm sure he got 2. He came in off the outside.
Was that his debut?
Aye, but he just didn't look interested. And you're like,
no,
oh my God, this guy's absolutely.
You could tell after his first 2 touches if he was going to have a good game or no.
Aye, that time Ibrox and all, he scored obviously the 2.
Round at the keeper.
Aye, outstanding. And again, that was one of the games where I didn't think he had a good game, but he popped up with 2 goals.
2 goals, wasn't
it? That's what you love. You love just guys could boot the game for 89 minutes and pop up with a wonder strike and things like that. So we've been quite blessed the last 20 years. And a wee bit more, I would say, with players coming through and we've been very successful. Looking back here the years, mate, have you got a favourite game? Is there a one game sticks out in your head for something? Or
there's a couple. There's a couple for different reasons. But I would say my favourite game ever was probably the Rogic game against the Sheep at Hampden, when he obviously was got the last minute winner for the treble. That's probably my favourite game. And then obviously if you're talking about derbies and that, the 3-0 game under Angie in his first season, when we beat him to go top of the league that night, that's probably my favourite derby. And then you're talking about cup finals and stuff like that, Angie's first cup final against Hibs, when obviously everybody had written him off when he'd come in, and obviously if to get his first trophy and that, I thought that, and obviously that was the first trophy we lifted after the disaster clash we had the season before. Aye. It was the first final and that with fans back in at the game, and you took it like you said, the feeling we were talking about a few minutes ago, obviously when you're walking into the ground, I took that feeling came back when you're obviously the team's lifting the trophy and you take a kind of look round and you see the emotion on everybody's face, and that's the feeling that comes back to you when you're in moments like that.
Aye. See like a moment like that, people say check the limbs and the story and all that, right? The one for me, it really gets me is when Craig Gordon is
wrapped his knees.
And not looking at Craig Gordon, but looking behind him. Look, fans are just jumping off seats and jumping the other at people and rolling downstairs and all that, and you're saying,
I know.
Look at that. That's what it means. People just lose control for a period of time and just go and celebrate it.
It was unbelievable.
That period of time and all, Ange came in and they didn't really, people were saying, oh, who is this guy and where's he from, what's he done, and that's always going to happen. I mean, it's happening now with our current manager, Wilfried, so it will happen again, and just hoping that obviously he has the same sort of route or same trajectory and transition that Ange had. But listen, they're 2 different managers, it's different times, different eras, and it'll be what it'll be, mate, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But you were saying there, obviously, like Tom Rogic with Aberdeen, that was outstanding for me. But I always remember one game as well at Kilmarnock, mate. I don't know if you remember it, where we were in the away end, obviously behind where he scored.
That's right, aye.
I've still got the ball.
You get the ball for that?
So I got the ball and see around people on the bus. I'm like, I thought you were doing that. I went, no chance, man.
Nah.
I went, Tom Rogic, I love Tom Rogic, mate. It was like, for the minute he came, I just knew. I was like, this guy's, he's going to, there's something about him. And even people saying, you can't get a full game out of him. That's why he comes on. He's an impact player, but when you're looking at it, it's like,
look at the last minute goals he scored.
Exactly, mate. And you know what? in that same mould, people won't like this when I say that, but James Forrest is that type of player for me as well. He might not do nothing for weeks and months on end, and it's good to see him back training. And James Forrest came in at the tail end of the season there and kicked to his own. And that's what somebody like that brings, somebody with a bit of experience can bring to your team. And Rogic did that time and time again.
He liked to go against the Rangers or not, didn't he?
Aye. Made it. Well, his best one for me was when he scored and he stamped on Bates's leg and broke his ankle. I was loved it. I'm like, this is amazing. This guy's, he could. I'll tell you, man, you couldn't get a beach ball off him in a phone box, as people used to say. No, I mean, he was that good. I loved him.
See for somebody so tall as well. Obviously, with the ball at his feet, he was different gravy. But a lot of folk, that game you're talking about, Kelly away, a lot of folk don't remember, but we were neck and neck with Aberdeen, obviously at that point. And if obviously we dropped points that day, if they were playing Motherwell later on that day, if they had won, they went top of the league, and it was obviously towards it was March time, wasn't it? So no saying they would have went and won the league, but obviously it was a big game,
massive game. And there's been massive games like that all over the place, mate. All over the place. Like Derek Kilmarnock, Scott Brown scored up at Ross. I think was it Ross County? Ross County. Ralston scores. Or these goals like that, last minute goals, and I mean the Abada one. Remember Rangers were? I think they drew 3 each.
Dundee United. That's right.
No,
that's right.
We won 1-0 Abada. Being there for the last kick of the ball. I think it was.
I remember. See that day we were geared up to the game and we were in the pub before it. We were just about to go on the bus. And I think Ross County were up 1-0 that day. So we were on the pub, 1-0 left, heading up towards Celtic Park. By the time we go on the motorway, it was 2-1. So right, but as what it is, man, that's it. Just need to win. And then obviously, Ross County were up 2-1, I'm sure. So Rangers made it 2 each. And then I think Rangers went 3-2 or something. I can't mind, but it was 3-2 right towards the end of the game. And we were all just sitting talking on the bus. And Heather goes like that, that's 3 each. The bus just erupted, man. There's motors behind us beeping the horns and whatnot, because it was obviously just 5 minutes away from the ground. So things like that stick with you as well. You know what I mean? Because you're into park, you're buzzing, and then you get a last minute winner. Things like that. You see if you could bottle that up, man, you'd make a fortune.
Aye, that is, mate. It's good. That is good. Look, so obviously saying there that you own bus journeys and trips and that going to games. What have you got any journeys that you think that was outstanding with some trip there, or went away with the bus, or went away with the boys, or for your sake as well, away with the missus? Because obviously Heather's a big Celtic fan as well. She goes to most of the games as well.
She comes. I actually met her going to Dundee United. That's where I met her, on a bus. But there's been a few. It's mainly it's mainly the derby matches, obviously, that kind of stick with me. And it's not so much going up; it's coming back. I remember we beat Rangers. We beat them. I can't even mind the score. I think it made them 3-2 or something. And the bus was bouncing on the way back, and there was folk were driving through basically the Gallagate, and there was folk actually videoing the bus. Just because it was pandemonium. Folk taking videos yet and all that. It was just things like that stick with you. You know what I mean? The memories you've got, obviously going up to the game with your pals and the journeys back down the road and that, because you know yourself, sometimes the games they might be utter crap, but obviously the bus makes it, and obviously the memories you make on that as well. So, games like that stick with us. You
meet a lot of people. I know you make pals. I mean, obviously we've been in the Stoning section, and you do meet a lot of people through that as well, and you build up relationships, friendships. And that's a big, massive part of me. Like, I've got a lot of pals who love football, but I've got loads and the amount of people I know through going to see Celtic and meeting them at home and away and Europe and all that. It's totally different, and you've got that common bond where you all want the same thing. It's, I mean, and mate, it's the same. Like you probably date. Like, I've been fortunate to go to the convention a few times now, and you meet people that you don't even know, but within 5-10 minutes, you realise that 20-30 people they know, and they know the same people. And
well, that's it. It's the same as when you go on holiday, innit? And you're walking down the street, you see or you're in a pub or a hotel, and you see a boy with the Celtic cap on. That's it. We've met pals obviously on holiday, and we still keep in touch with them now. And it's through Celtic, and obviously I met boys in the Stony section that I've been to their weddings, and they've been to my wedding and all that, and we're lifelong pals now. Or no lifelong, but a pal for life now that obviously through Celtic. You know what I mean? So
aye, that's it.
you meet.
It's like you say, you see somebody with that tap on, and you go, right, mate, how you doing? Like, Suzanne goes like at me, who's he? I'm like, I don't know. What are you saying I'm looking for? He's got a Celtic tap on. He's got a Celtic tap on, so I'm saying hello to the guy. No, and mate, and do you know the first time, mate, I ever seen somebody in holiday with a Celtic tap, and I thought, there's a guy earlier with a Celtic tap on. And then it wasn't until about 5 minutes after it I realised who it actually was. It was actually Andy Payton, who played with Celtic, was on holiday in Benidorm, Waterline Street, with the Celtic tap on. And I was like, that's Andy Payton. And I didn't realise it till after it. And then seen him later on that night in the pub, in the Shamrock pub, and that's why he was there. He was doing a speaking thing. You know what I mean? That's a way back, man. So, but I just Celtic's a massive part of a lot of our lives.
See, just on that, being on holiday with the Celtic tap on. See, I went on a stag do. My mate, funnily enough, a boy I met through going up on the bus to the football, and he wanted us all the first night all to wear colours. So there was about 20 years, right, and about 18 years were all Celtic fans. One guy didn't like football, one guy was like a Kilmarnock fan or something. So we're all out in the hoops, and we're all out, and you know what it's like. First day, you're blue tip. So I got a taxi back home. I couldn't remember what hotel I was in, and the taxi driver's like, I take same shirt as you to hotel, and because I had the Celtic tap on, he'd already took a few of my mates down the road, so he knew exactly where I was going. So it's mad with things like that as well, because it's, you know yourself, it's a globally recognised tap, innit? You know what I mean? It's you see it anywhere in the world, and folk from anywhere know exactly what team it is.
Aye. What do you think? What's different about supporting Celtic than any other team? So obviously, I take it, I like watching Scotland, right? But that's my country, right? But I don't get the same feeling. I get angry watching Scotland because I think they should be doing better than they are. But what do you think it is that when you're watching Celtic, how's it different for supporting any other clubs are going? Because obviously you go to your local, I go to fan art games, right? You've been to the Darvel games and all that.
No anymore.
What's the difference, you think, than being a Celtic fan in any other team?
See, to be fair, your team's your team, innit? You can't change it. Your team's your team. And obviously, folk will obviously go tell you different, you know, that support a different team or whatever. But for me, Celtic's just about, see the story, how it was formed. And obviously the background with that, and then the challenges that the people faced, that the club was formed to obviously help out. That for me obviously sets aside other clubs and us. The reason that Celtic was formed was obviously to help immigrants, Irish immigrants coming across, and obviously try to basically feed them, because obviously they were looked upon as obviously second class citizens. So for me, the club's not stopped doing that. Obviously, maybe the club now has stopped doing it with their own supporters, but for me, the origins of the club, that's what sets it aside for anybody else.
The ethos is there, the history and what we were built on, the foundations are still replicated to this day. And there's issues happening now, but realistically, the foundation, the charity work that they do, the food bank drives that's happening around the grounds, there's different. Not even just that, not just for obviously at Celtic Park, but also away for that as well. You get the sleep outs and things like that happening in London or wherever it might well be. And Celtic's global, you know what I mean? And there's no more, I would say, bigger thing than noticing that when you go to do the convention in Vegas, mate. And I always say this to people: if you can do anything in your life once, do the convention, because people go, okay, it's Vegas, you just gamble and you drink. It's not even about that, mate. It's being in a place where another 4,000 Celtic fans are, that's nowhere near Glasgow. There's not even a game of football in.
So you're about 10 hours away on a plane, you know what I mean?
You're there because you love your team. You're there because you want to go and party something. And trying to explain it to people it's mad. It's absolutely mad. It's like that feeling you get maybe when you walk out the first time at Celtic Park to see the game, or as we are saying, like, you can bottle something. That feeling, I mean, I was at the last one there, and it was people I used to work with at it that I hadn't seen in ages. One of our old bosses and things like that. There's people I hadn't seen for a few years about it. there's guys that I'd only spoke to online through like forums and things like that, and you go and meet them, and
You go meet them.
there's boys I'd met. I met a boy, Andy Murray, who is from Burlington in Canada, and I'd met him like the 8 year before it. You know what I mean? And then he's walking by the pool, and I'm walking by, and I'm like, right, he's like, right, Toby, right, Andy, what's happening? And it's like as if you've knew him all your life. Like, you've knew him. That bond's there, and once you built that up, it never leaves you, mate. It never ever leaves you. And even the day I was in work today, and the lass was in my work, and I'm like the lass, I'm like, I know her. And then I went out to my motor, and I clocked her motor, and I went, oh, that's how I know her. So then when she came out, I was saying to her, and she was like, oh, actually, I remember I meet you. Aye, that's cool. She went, oh, she went, I know you can't get hiding for that motor. I said, well, you can't hide for mine. She went, oh, that's right, your Reggie's 1888. Jogging it. I said, aye. So just that, and things like that, people see it and notice it.
Aye.
But I think that to be part of the Celtic, following Celtic all over the world, and going to like a convention, mate, it's just mad how that everything just clicks right away, and you meet people, and you've got that. It's right away that draws the Celtic right about it. But going to the convention corner, seeing ex-players, and we were fortunate sitting next to Alan Thompson having breakfast and all that, and I'd already played golf with him, which was very, very good. But for me, because I'm humble, I don't like going and speaking to ex-players or people play Celtic, because they're still your heroes, mate, no matter what way you look at it. And also, when they've stopped playing football, I always like to give them that space.
Aye.
I will say to them, well, listen, many memories I had that. I mean, on the golf course, I spoke to them in depth and variety about different things about football, but when they're playing with the club, mate, I do believe that they should be ambassadors for the club. Like as Tommy Burns used to say, like, the fans are there and they're always there. Well, the players are there and they should always be there for the fans. Like, I don't know if you'll remember, but we used to you got me autographs. I don't know if you remember the day we were up and I was trying to get, it was Paul Lambert's autograph, and he's in the front door and he says, I'm coming back out 20 minutes, get his here. And I said to we'll go into the side, because that's where he came out. And he came out the side and he still refused to sign. I hated that. I actually hated that. And to this day, I've never got his signature in anything, mate. And see,
it sticks with people though, but doesn't it? It sticks with folk, because for somebody like him, it's like it's nothing to brush off one fan. But that fan, obviously, they pay the money to go and see things. That could be somebody's hero. Do you know what I mean? And then for them to walk by, they think nothing of it. But then, you could ruin somebody's thoughts of you. You know what I mean? But because you've done that.
I remember years ago as I played at Rangers, Oleg Kuznetsov, right? I met him on the bus in the town. I on the bus, I'm like, what's that guy? I said, no chance. They're like that. And then I seen a boy go down and talk to him. He'd all the time in the world for people when he was on a bus. Didn't know anybody. But he'd all the time in the world for people. You know what I mean? Which was great to see, man. But I just think we've lost our way a wee bit with that, with the players and things. And I think the last wee while it's getting a bit erratic as well with what's happening at the club. You know what I mean? We've had a cracking run, mate. We can't knock that the past 20 years. I mean, there's probably, I can say for certain, I think you've only seen Rangers win the league one time. Would I be right? Or can you remember winning any other time?
No, I remember the. No, don't get me wrong. I think we've trumped them definitely in my lifetime. But I remember the 3 in a row. I think 8, 9, and 10. Am I right? Or maybe 9, 10, and no, we won it in 2008. Sorry, so it was like 9, 10, and 11. I think. I remember that. I remember getting them. I remember them getting to obviously UEFA Cup final, and then obviously
Manchester,
and then they went Rectigaff. But to be fair, other than
obviously, we've had it good.
I was going to say that for my lifetime, you know what I mean. I can't obviously complain about the success that we've had or I've seen. Sorry.
Aye. So see all the doubles, the trebles, the quadruples, the invincibles. What would you say? Could you pick any one season out of that, or any one team out of that period of time where you would say that
I can pick two. But you know what? I was going to say the Invincible season, but see for me, Angie's first season. No, second season. Sorry, second season, because we obviously won the double in Angie's first season. But for the Invincible season, don't get me wrong, Rogic's last minute goal against Aberdeen, that game's my favourite ever. But obviously, you can only play what's in front of you, and to me, that team wasn't playing against obviously a decent level opponent. You know what I mean? Aberdeen came second. I think Rangers finished third there. maybe fourth or something behind Hipper, whatever it was. But for Ange to come in, obviously win a double in his first season, and then for the next season, you're playing against a team that's just got to the UEFA Cup or the Europa League final, sorry. So to then go and play them in the first game at Celtic Park and beat them 4-0, and then win a treble that year, that to me, and the football he played, do you know what I mean? That for me, that season was unbelievable.
See, when you're looking back at the success we've had, what do you? Because remember the first time when Rodgers came in, right? That team that we had that inherited, he only added a couple of players to it, but they seemed to come on leaps and bounds. And you think to yourself, how is that even possible? But then you think the new there when he's left is again, Martin O'Neill comes in and does exactly the same thing. He brings in a solid grounding, a level playing field. He's got players playing. It's the same formation, but positional sense-wise, or the way we're passing the ball, but sort of a changes. Martin O'Neill teams were always like foundations were big guys at the back. You know what I mean? So he had Scales at the back, he's Trusty at the back. So two guys like Trusty likes a tackle, Scales loves a tackle. We know Tierney loves a tackle. So things like that. I just think sorry, mate. You go.
No, for me, you're talking about Martin O'Neill coming in, right, and obviously slightly changing things. I noticed it in the semi-final against Rangers. For me, when I don't know if you will remember, but the first 20 minutes, right, we battered them. We played about 3 or 4 balls direct to the tap for Trusty, just lumping it across to Tenetke or Maeda, and you're sitting and think to yourself, why is, or was it Kenny or whoever? But I was Maeda. But you're thinking to yourself, Rodgers would have been forcing Schmeichel to pass it to Scales, to Trusty. But Trusty probably wouldn't even been playing if it was Rodgers. Do you know what I mean? So,
well, that's the thing. You need to look at that, mate. Where did Trusty, right? Where was Trusty, right? Osman came in. The boy Osman came in as well. There's about three players for getting opportunity right away. Right away.
Aye. Well, that's it. But Rodgers was his
yourself, how is that possible? I didn't think after they left. See, when they left the first time, I was absolutely raging, mate. Raging the way it happened and all that. Playing Hearts, coming up to play Hearts, a massive game.
Yep.
And at that time, probably the only person could have come in was Neil Lennon.
Aye.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then this time here, and I do believe that I've heard a lot of stories of what has happened or what's possibly happened or what's been construed to have happened, but I do believe that weeks prior to him leaving or the situation arising, what happened, like our board or somebody within our board was speaking to Martin O'Neill, because I obviously thought when Sean Maloney came in at the very start, I thought Maloney was coming in, and then the boy from Belgium was going to come in at a later date. That's what I actually thought. But with Maloney being there, then Martin O'Neill coming in. So I don't know if Maloney would be around about the team or he'd been around about the squad. He probably know most of them because he's always there day to day. But just for me, it was the only person that could have steadied the ship, got us the results, and give us a wee bit of hope back. You know what I mean? And the way we were playing, I would have liked to have gave him a wee bit longer, maybe to after the cup final. Say to Nancy when he's coming in, listen, nothing against you. We want you just to sit back, look at this, look at the way they're playing, and give them time to transition into the way you want to play. But Martin O'Neill and that will still take the team and they'll still go to match day and they'll play the way they play. But then on the training part, they can do something different. But coming to match day, we revert back to that tried and tested method. They know they're playing. And you think about it, Wilfred Nancy's come in. We had a DRS because we just played in Europe. So we've got a DRS.
Yep.
And then we've got, well, next day we've probably been for training, and then the next day's a game. Not me.
Well, it's to be fair, don't get me wrong. You were at the game, I was at the game. See, for the first 20 minutes, right, it's no Nancy's fault that Maeda missed 2 sitters. It's no Nancy's fault that we're stopped, Carl McGregor and the rest of the defence stopped. With, this is the first thing you get taught when you play football, is play the whistle on it. So the boys, the team stopped, and the boys obviously know, and he's obviously scored for it. So that's no Nancy's fault either. And then obviously it's no Nancy's fault that we gave away a free header. So if Maeda scores that goal early on, All right, it's a different game.
Too. Aye, mate, if you score, if you take 2 chances, total them. Engels in all the second half for his header.
Well, it's at 85, 84 minutes or whatever.
Anywhere else, that's a goal. But
That's
it's just right to go, and it's just unfortunate that's the way it's happened. But the new manager's going to need to get time. There's no bones about it, mate. He needs to get time. We need people they always say, go, but look at Angie's first game. It was against Terrace. He was beat. I know, and that's it. But that's what you need to remember. It's just his first game. He's no time to bed in the team. He's no time to do the. And another thing I know, the tactics board thing, which really gets to me is he's came in and he's not really 100% sure who the players are. Probably doesn't he? And
no,
he's went for these big players, so he knows that Kieran Tierney's probably there because you probably knew who Kieran Tierney was, right?
Yeah.
And Callum McGregor's your captain, so he's looking at A2 because they're Celtic men. And they'll get the point across in the pitch. So he's telling them what they want to do, and then they'll relate that back to the people on the pitch. I don't see it wrong with it.
I don't see it wrong with it.
Loyal. Stratton used to do the laptop stuff.
Aye.
Nancy's just using a wee board. People say it should be kept. Derek McInnes was looking at his shoulder and all that. What does that tell you? That he's moved the guy 3. That could have been anything. Know what I mean?
No, I mean, if you go in the changing rooms, it's that you've got a bit. I don't know if you've seen it, but you've got umpteen tactics boards in the changing room. So there's no. For me, I think again, similar to how Ange get treated in his first spell or his first few games, and because he's an outsider that he wasn't the mainstream media's favourite to get the job. He's just getting obviously. I mean, they were hounding him for the trainers he'd done. You know what I mean? And you're like that.
Aye, green trainers. That's all you've got to worry about. You know what I mean?
Aye. So as I said, listen, I hope they keep doing it because the Celtic support will just back him even more. You know, it happened with Ange, and it'll happen with him and all, because obviously it was quite a kind of left field decision for the board to go and appoint him, and obviously the support were well, they didn't exactly unify the full support because a lot of folk had their doubts. But to me, the only way to unify is if they keep vilifying him, the support will just get right behind them. So they will.
I think it's a massive 3 games he's come in at this time, Connor. He's came in where we're playing the team that's at the top of the league with us, right? And then we've got a massive game that people are saying it's a free hit. I hate that word anymore as a free hit.
Thursday's there's no such thing as that as I say, like as a.
No, there's no, and no what, mate. See if we weren't in the position we're in. See if we got beat the last game. This would be one of the ones where you say doesn't really matter because we're not going to get through. But we're in a position where we can progress. So we want to go out there and compete, perform, and get a point. At least get a point. You know what I mean? Roma are in the Mills, we know that, but know what? But at Celtic Park, the crowd will get behind the team. It's not the same as it used to be. It's not the fortress it once was. But let's try and get behind that again. Let's try and get the fans. And I know a lot of people are saying obviously fans groups are in the air, but my own feelings on that is my own personal feelings. But they bring so much good to the game when it's there. Sometimes they bring bad, but
that's it. But to be fair, the
crowd, there's 60,000 people there, mate. 60,000 people need to get behind the team and bring the atmosphere and bring the noise. You know what I mean? It's not just into one group or 2 groups of people.
No, I totally agree. I totally agree. But the folk will have their own opinions on the fan groups. Me personally, I think they're brilliant. I think they bring a lot of, like you said, a lot of good. But the Celtics are the main support now. Obviously, they'll be in the ground. To me, seeing less Celtic come out flying, the support they're too. I don't want to say the word toxic, but you know what it's like. You know, see if we have a few bad passes and a few, you know,
you're on their back. Shouting and ball and they're moaning.
The fans go daft, but you know what I mean. There's a couple of guys behind me, and you know, somebody they'll just shout for anything. You know what I mean? And it's as I said, the fan groups they bring a lot of good, and I think what's happened now is see because the past 20 years they've been there, so it's now became right. Well, lead to them sort of thing to start the tunes and to start this and all that. Maybe it's not so much at away games because obviously it's a wee bit, it's a lot more of vocal support that goes across there. But for certainly home games, I think the support have kind of relied too much now on the fan groups to obviously start the tunes and that.
To bring the noise, that's it.
To bring the noise,
And as you said, for 20 years, maybe they've just sat back and let them deal with it and they've no needed to sing. And then now they need to step up. And I know.
Don't get me wrong, the cup fight, no, the semi-final. That was brilliant. The atmosphere there was brilliant, and there was no fan groups there. So I don't see how. But again, you could.
Allegedly, I will say allegedly.
Aye, I know, but as I said, that how can that not be the same at Parkhead? But as I said, I think they bring a lot of good.
Listen, mate,
Sorry,
it's time for people to stand up and be accountable now. So because if they're not going to be there, then and people want to moan about them being the bad, the whatever, and you need to step into that void. Then you need to step in. And I don't want to say I was going to. It's no step up and hang me, but it's step in and step up and sing. And
just on that, but obviously, folk relying on the groups to make a noise. And I remember a couple of years ago with the Bernard Higgins fiasco, and it was a silent protest. I remember being in the pub before the game and talking to a guy who was raging about the silent protest. Obviously, we're neck and neck with Rangers, and we're obviously trying to win a league, and you want to give the team as much back as you can. So we're talking about it. A lot of folk were for it, a lot of folk were against it. And he's like, I bet you're for it. And I go, well, I'm back the silent protest. I know it's maybe no great for the team, but in the wider scheme of things for fans and that. So, and then he says, well, I don't pay my season book to sit with the atmosphere. And I was like, will you sing then? You know what I mean? It's not, you know what I mean? They'd say a silent protest. You can't say, aye, I know. I pay my money to watch Celtic. You know what I mean? So to me, I'm like, it's just mental. But as I said, we've got them in the support. So, aye, we'll just need to wait and see what happens.
We've got people there that are very fickle. You know what I mean? And as we were saying earlier on, it's great being Celtic fans and you speak to each other around the world, and we all have the same. We've all got the same passion for the team. You know what I mean? Yep. Some people don't like things. That's fair enough. That's their own opinion. But be all and end all, we're there to see Celtic win. So if it's quiet, voice it. Get your voice out there. I mean, seen a few things, people shouting about this, shouting about that, and people telling other people to shut up, people arguing with people, and people fighting with people. That's always going to happen. Doesn't it just happen Celtic Park? And we've said that the issues that happen at the grounds happen up and down the length and breadth for the UK, not just in Scotland. Happens all over the place. But because we're a big team in Scotland, it's more.
It's amplified, isn't it?
Aye, that's it, mate. It is. It's in the limelight more because it's Celtic or it's like the Flair stuff and all the bad stuff there. I mean, I've not seen much. I've seen maybe a couple of things, but not much about the food bank drive at the weekend.
Well, that's it. 20 grand raised, you know what I mean? And then food banks and all that. And then when it comes to the actual game, you know, these people that obviously they never raised, they organised it, but obviously the full support rallied around and raised 20 grand. But the instigators that obviously started whose idea it was to have the food bank at Hearts there, they raised 20 grand. Full 8 vans or whatever it is, and then when they get to the run, they can't get in and watch their team.
Mm-hmm.
So, as I say, I think we're on the same opinion, obviously, to get O'Neill into the cup final. But for me, the board are their own worst enemy because we just won against Feyenoord 3 away games in a week. You know, there was a bit of spark back in the team, bit of positivity about the place. New manager coming in, and then they go and basically release another statement saying that obviously there's fans banned indefinitely. For me, the positivity needs to get back. The supports, I thought they were unified, but there's still obviously certain ones that are going to back the board and whatnot. But to me, I think the board missed a trick there. Been basically like saying, right, wipe the slate clean, back in, kick on, back to new manager. 3 results now, you know what I mean? 3 away games, just 1 away for him in Europe in the past 4 years. So to me, aye.
Do you think with it? What do you think the result is going to be here, Conor? What do you see as an outcome? Do you see that there'll be what do you call it, a coming together and sitting down on a table, so to speak, or do you see it being that in the very near future there might not be any of that? There might not be any GB.
I think the board. I think that you just need to look at the billionaire son's statement at the AGM. I think the club would be more than happy to ban them indefinitely. You know, you've got. I know, obviously, you were at the AGM and you'd certain fan groups, and obviously, I get folk were there to ask. They wanted to ask questions and stuff like that. But for me, I think the point was raised early on. Can we skip the videos that are accessed? They're posted online. You know what I mean? The MD can watch them at any time. And this is the most heated AGM that was obviously building. And it was obviously the most heated one I can remember in my lifetime anyway. So to me, the fans want to go in and hold the board accountable. Ask them hard questions that the media will not ask them. So I think the point was raised, obviously, to skip the videos. shows we've got more time for questions. To me, the board, we played right into the board's hands. The board wanted any excuse to adjourn that AGM, so they didn't have to sit and get grilled. And obviously we played into it. But to me, you've got your chairman there telling fans to behave, whilst the billionaire's shareholders boy sits and berates the fans in the room. So to me, that's, just shows how out of touch they are. So to me, I think they will want to get rid of them, to be honest with you. But they'll not go up. I don't think they can. I think they're too big. No, they're no bigger than the club. I'm not saying they're bigger than the club, but what I mean is too big a group.
I don't see that at all, mate. I see it totally different for you. I see them being able to just say, listen, no more, you're not getting back in, because they know everybody. They know everybody. See everybody in the ground. See that part know who you are. They know your details.
They know
your bank account details. You know your address. Know your phone number, because you fill it in to join the up-to-date stuff, keeping track of Celtic. And then in the last few weeks, we've seen or we've heard that people's houses, doors have been put in, and guys have been pulled out of their beds or whatever it might well be. And that's not because the players have got great intel. That's because maybe the club have given them the intel and said this and that. Because what happens now when you go to the game, mate, and it's all your cameras. And when I worked in retail, I used cameras quite a bit, certain parts of my job. The camera now can follow you, mate. As soon as you go into that ground, got your facial recognition. So see anywhere you walk, it can follow you. It can go, that's Connor, that's Toby. And that for me is worse than anything else in the world, where you can't actually go like a game and just chill out and relax and watch the game without thinking that somebody's watching you 24/7. So I think the club will just, I would love there be an end to it where both parties could get back to the table, and not even the table, just get back to the football. But what I see is, when the GB return, if they return, I'm sure they will return, because as you're saying, they're too big. Celtic would need to, I don't know how they would go about banning them for life if that's the case. But if, when, and maybe they return, what do you think? Do you think they'll return and be no start a protest, or do you think they'll come back with a banner about the board again?
To me, I think that's the sole reason. The board can obviously, and the club can put as many statements out as they want on a Saturday night at 9 o'clock when everybody's in a pub. But to me, nobody will convince me otherwise that the board haven't banned the Green for the sole reason that the board protests. I genuinely believe that's why. Because if you look back, obviously going back about 10 years ago, and it was the Offensive Behaviour Act. There was obviously a bit of pushback on that. There was a lot of campaigning to get that done successfully, obviously, but the board found an excuse to ban the group. Then you fast forward a wee bit, and you've got the Bernard Higgins thing, and obviously there's a bit of to and fro between the board, and then they get banned again, obviously for another incident. And then if you fast forward again, you've got the Palestine stuff a couple of years ago, and the board again banned the group. And now you've obviously got the board protests, and the board have found an excuse to ban the group. I mean, I was there that night against Falkirk in the section, and to me, it was, like you said, happens up and down the country. And being in that standing section and having to go in, I'm walking in with my boy, right? So I'm getting patted down before I get in a run. And he's standing there watching, obviously, me getting searched by this guy. I'm walking in. For me to go to the toilet with my boy, I need to walk through a gate. It's all barriered off with all these stewards.
Yep.
Then if the man wants a juice or a water or whatever, I need to go show my ticket again to get back through the same gate that I've just came through. So it was only a matter of time before somebody was obviously going to get a bit annoyed with it. Do you know what I mean? So to me, I think
I seen it. I seen it when we played Man City down there. I could see the section being like this, and it was egress gates. So the gates where you were caged in a section. So underneath, so you imagine when you go underneath that tunnel and that tunnel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's actually just that tunnel, because there are two up high, but you came onto the concourse. That's your only way in and way out, and nobody else can use the exits and entrances apart from the people in the section.
Aye.
No, I mean, and that for me, I seen that, and I said that's the way we're going to go, because the first chance the board get, they'll put fences in, they'll try to pen us in there, and that's partly one of the reasons I left the section and all. Don't get me wrong, I loved it. I loved the atmosphere in it, the banter, getting to know people and all that, and making new friends. But it was bad. But where we are the new, mate, we're in a position. We were talking about Martin O'Neill coming in there. Right, Martin O'Neill's come in, and we're not forgetting about that. We're not moving on. We're just trying to get back to the football side of things, because that's the most important thing, getting football. And fans should be there to support the team. We know that. So that'll need to take care of itself. We can't do anything for that. Can't change that. But to go back to where Martin O'Neill came in, we were trailing Hearts. What was it, 9 or 12 points? 12 points, I think it was.
I think it was maybe 9 points.
9 points, right? And we managed to get that done. And we managed to get level with them again, and then the goal difference or whatever it was. And then, so you need to look at that, and that's why the new manager needs to get time, because Martin has done an outstanding job to get us back into this position we're in. We've got 2 games. We're going to have 2 games in Hon come Monday morning. So we're against Hearts, and they could go to the weekend here and draw or get beat. You don't know. So then it could be back to 3. But we win our 2 games in hand. Whether they win or no, right, is irrelevant. But if they win our 2 games in hand, we're back to the exact same position we were before Nancy came in.
Right. Yep.
So we need to look at that. We need to look at that, and we need to win. All right. We need to win our league games, but we've got chance. We've got 2 games here that we're going to be playing, where he's got time. He's got an extra. It's like an extra game for me, because the games are in the bank to play. That gives him more time to try more stuff. Because people play their games. I were playing catch up, but it's catch up with 2 more games to say, gives me another 2 games to get the formation right, the team playing the way they want to play. And then come January, we bring in a few bodies, hopefully.
I'm just about to say that.
He needs to stay in the squad, and we've got Jota back, we've got Alistair Johnson back. You know what I mean?
Aye.
This is when we start hitting the ground running after January. It's all in. Everything's going now after January. So between now and January, we just keep plodding along. We keep on the tails of Hearts. And then we just go for there, we kick on, and we win, start winning games. Because we've seen it. They had a wee patch here. Had a wee purple patch. So they did. You know what I mean? And that can happen again, because they'll not get that big a squad, and they're not going to stay clear of injury. We've had horrendous injuries, man, the last while. So it happens to everybody. But I think the new man's got to get time, mate. That's what it is for me. And starting with that, the boys have got to turn up on Thursday and play. That's what it is. The players have got to turn up and play now, and want to play and want to win. They will. I know they will. Nobody goes out there and doesn't want to win. You know what I mean? That's not the way. But absolutely mental, mate. But let's get back to some of your stories, mate. What is there any? Obviously, we're talking about bus trips and things like that, Europe-wise. What is your best game you've seen in Europe, or what's your best away day?
Best away day? Oof. My first away day in Europe was Munich. Obviously, Bayern. And I still remember getting out of the taxi, walking across to the square where obviously all the Celtic fans were, but you couldn't see them, you only hear them. And for years and years and years, I wanted to go away in Europe to watch Celtic. And I remember just hearing this ruckus, just this big volume of folk, and then I kind of basically turned a corner, and it was just a sea of green and white in this square, sun splitting the trees. And I was like, wow, it's just some sight to be a Celtic fan out abroad following your team in a different country. It's not as if you're just going away to Perth Park. You know what I mean? You're actually in a different country. Actually, funny enough, we flew from Edinburgh to Paris, from Paris to Munich, and I think our flight time, connecting time, was about an hour, and we were the second lot off the plane. So we had to make bus, like obviously, sometimes obviously you get the buses to the terminal. So we were on the second bus. So we were obviously running late, and me, Heather, my mum was there, my mate Declan, and another handful of Celtic fans are sprinting through Paris airport trying to make this connecting flight. But that's my first memory of following Celtic away in Europe. Best away day. Do you know what? Actually, best away day. Ibrox 3-2. We've been down to 10 men for the majority of the second half, and Edward comes on, and he's not really, I'm not going to say no kicked a ball, but you don't really know who he is. You don't really know what he's going to offer you, because obviously he was just on loan, wasn't he? So to come on and make a name for yourself, because that's the games that folk remember. Do you know what I mean? That's the games that players make a name for themselves. We were talking earlier about Rogic and obviously Borok and stuff like that, man. These are the games that obviously folk remember. Don't get me wrong, Borok had a few howlers in them, but you know, he just as good saves as well. So, aye, I'd say the 3-2 game.
You say the 3-2 game is when he cut in for the left, so he did, and then bent it into the corner. So obviously I'm on the stairwell with my mate Mark, and I'm saying, "Oh my God, what is he doing, man? Look at the state. He's not going to his marks." I know, just did. And then that when and you're like, "Oh my God, he's just put it right in the back of the net." And that there, like it was like silence for a second, and then just absolute bedlam.
Pandemonium, wasn't it?
No, I mean, but it's just you said there something you said there. I know got me as well. But been very fortunate to follow Celtic quite a few places abroad. Seville for me was like that moment you just said there, like you walked through the corner and boom. So I was quite lucky. So I went with my Uncle James, obviously. Uncle John was there, Alex was there. But it was like me and my Uncle James. So I was meeting a couple of my mates there, and I took the bucky and all that, and we flew in and flew out in one day. And came off the plane, and the bus was taking us to the park thing where everybody was going to be, and then you had to walk to wherever else and all this. But I always remember that bumped into my mates, and it was like everybody was just, it was like, "How you doing?" And people had been at school with and hadn't seen for years, so we left school, and it was a mad feeling. But we're all looking for this. They're in the Banco de Roma or something like that, or the Banco España Square, and I'm like, "I must be down here somewhere." And I'm like, "No," and James like, "We just need to find it." My wee mate Ian was with, and he's like, he could speak a bit of Spanish, so he's asking people directions and all that, and they're saying there, and a guy said something back to him, and Ian went, "No, he's just said to me." I said, "What?" He said, "Just down there at the Daily Record bus." What he said, "There's a big bus saying Daily Record. Can't miss it." So we've turned the corner and we could see the red Daily Record bus. And we're like, "Oh my God." So when we got down there, it was like, I think Susie Maguire was there for Radio Clyde. She was doing like a compare thing, and they had a couple of Celtic players on. And mate, it was just mental. And all I done is I just walked. I said, "Don't move for here," to them, and I walked to a shop and I came back with a crate of beer and like a milk crate. It was like 24 bottles and about
that's right.
Sizes. It was just everybody was just storing, drinking, and absolutely brilliant.
We went obviously. You said there with that crate of beer in Munich. We're in the square. It was actually my mum had went and go. I was having the first. I thought it was a shop, but it wasn't. It was a restaurant. So I had 2 bottles of wine. So I went into the shop for a bottle opener, and I had 2 bottles of wine. And I'm like to the guy, "You open that for me? There's couples in there getting their dinner and all that." And I've to the waiter, but my mum brought that 24 crate of beer, but it wasn't. It was like German ale. It was rotten, and I'm like, "I'm not drinking that." So I was like, "You know what it's like, man. There's thousands of fans in that square. You want that? Not a Scottish player, not one Celtic fan drank it, right? These Bayern fans are walking through getting photos every day. We're like talking away to them. Here, do you want that? They walk, but they take it. Full crate of beer, man. They're away with it. Don't know what she bought, but it certainly wasn't a drink.
It's another one there. Real Madrid, when we played, I'd been to Madrid a couple of times, obviously, Susanna and that, and always my aim in life, my aim in life was to see Celtic play Real Madrid, because I'd been there and I'd been through the museum and the stadium and all that stuff, and I'd met people, and when the draw came out, mate, I was like away at Christmas. Somebody like wearing a sweetie shirt. I swear, I was just all routes lead to Madrid. Nothing else mattered. Nothing else mattered.
Planes, trains, and automobiles.
See, if somebody was getting married that week, I wouldn't have been at it. If somebody was, didn't matter what was happening. I was going to Madrid, and the boy. So the boy was called Michael Fallon, who I'd been speaking to, and he says, because he knew I was coming early on the day of the game, he was saying to me, "Toby, can you do us a favour? Can you go to Celtic Park and pick up 2 tickets?" I said, "No bother." So I goes up, and I have to give details and all that, and then it goes away, and then he phones me back, "Can you go up and get another 2 tickets?" So I go back and goes up and goes back, and the guy's like, "Hold on a minute, why are you collecting these tickets?" I said, "Because they're already in Madrid, mate. This is the scenario. Celtic haven't given them their tickets. Now that people are wanting their tickets, the next people on the list is Connor, Hera, Toby, but they're all out there. So I'm the only person that's not there yet." He wasn't even not there yet. I said, "I'm flying out tomorrow." I says, "The day, but I'm flying out the morning of the game
to give them all the tickets."
I'm flying, and he's like, "All right." He's like, "So you're the ticket man?" I says, "Aye." So all the tickets, goes to meet Michael, tells him where I would get him. He's like, how do you know that pub? I said, that's a pub where I go to, blah, blah, blah. Goes in, sees him, I says, "Get your tickets," and he just hands me two season books. What he's like, that's for the boy Paddy that you met when you were here the last time. He bumped into him, spoke about you, showed him. He said, "That's Toby." He's like, "Give me 2 tickets." You know what I mean? So I got 2 tickets, season books, lower tier, on 18-yard line, about 20 seats back. We missed the penalty, right where I'm at. I'm like, got it. But then the second half, Jota, free kick, I'm right behind it.
That's right, aye.
And it's like, one of the boy I'm with him, like, two are watching it, it goes in. And that way, like, the short end goes nuts.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still just looking, going, I can't believe that's went in. I can't believe that's went in.
Just
and I see Jota running away. And I'm looking, and then a guy behind me's like pulling me. And I'm like, he's like, celebrate. I'm like, my God, like, it was just an army. It was just, it was like, and that was me. I was like, people are saying, where else? And I was like, I don't know. There's not really anywhere else now I want to go to see Celtic. I've been to Barcelona, I've been to Milan.
Aye.
It's just, it was always wanting to be Madrid. They're not leaving my team, mate. They're not leaving my team. I'm not a big fan of this. I've got a team in Spain, I've got a team in England, I've got a team in, you know what I mean? I'm Celtic, and that's it.
Aye.
So for that was great, mate. And just, that was probably, although we get well trounced that day, that was an absolute brilliant trip as well, because I was there with my mate Kevin and his boy Anton. Now, Anton is like 18 or something at the time. I'm like, Kev, I've lost my passport. He's like, so have I. So the two of us are like that, looking for these. And Anton's like, what are you looking for? Like, we've lost our passports. And Kev's like, and I've lost yours as well. Anton's like, no, you haven't. You gave me the passports. You only drink anymore, I'm telling you. That was how bad it was. Like, just didn't have a clue what they're doing, but love it.
You do it for the love of the team, don't you? And for the memories and that you get. But you wouldn't change it for the world, do you know what I mean? It's, if you, like I said earlier, if you could bottle the feeling you get with moments like that, you'd make a fortune. But for those,
you've got them to look forward to, mate. You've got them to look forward to with the rain. You know what I mean?
Well, that's it. But see, when you're saying that, I've took Aidan to the games for he's been 2. Right, his first game was at Hampden, a semi-final against St Johnstone. Forrest scored the kind of half volley. So ever since then, he's been going to the games near enough every week with me, and he's got to the point now where I'm going to the game. So it's not that he's buzzing, but it's obviously we've done it to him now for an early age that it's just got to the game. Do you know what I mean? It's whereas before I never had a season ticket. My mum and dad never had a season ticket. So when I get the chance to go to the games, I was buzzing. Do you know what I mean? I was absolutely buzzing. But I remember being at the Celtic Rangers game, and it was we beat them 3-0 a couple of years ago. In fact, I think it was beginning of last season. McGregor scored that outside the box at the top corner. And I remember I'd swapped my seats I'd swapped my 3 season tickets for in the standing section for 3 tickets, in the top tier, so as I could sit down and watch a game with Aidan. You know what it's like in that section. So I took him up, Lisbon Lion upper tier, and great view. But it was the first time I got to sit and watch a Celtic game with him, because every time I'm either holding him or stoning with him. So I actually got to watch it. So we scored the first 2 goals, and all the boys are grabbing them and that, and boys that I don't even know. Do you know what I mean? You know what it's like. So gets to the second half and that, and he goes, "Dad, see when we score another goal? No, if we score another goal, Dad, see when we score another goal, can I celebrate myself?" I goes, "I don't bother, pal." So obviously McGregor scores that peach, didn't he? And he's jumping up and down, and that was the moment for me that you're like, aye, you get it. You know what I mean? He gets it.
Mate, that's it. And as I say, that you've got loads and loads of years of that to look forward to, hopefully, where the wee man starts thinking the way we're thinking, shouting the way we're shouting, and just going and watching the football. And mate, even so, for me, a big thing for me this last season anyway is for Chloe started going to the football, mate. They just always knew she liked a bit of football, but no into it. If that makes sense. And then all of a sudden I started saying, "Do you want a ticket? You want to go?" And then with the last one, she was there with Martin, and then Shannon was there, obviously. And I've said to Lady to go. Just seeing people who used to go to the football going back to the football, or seeing Chloe go. Chloe's not a wee lass, you know what I mean? She's 26 and she's going to the football and she's enjoying it. And she sometimes, mate, I used to take it to ice hockey, man. Oh my God, see the things she used to shout to the hockey players. I'm like, oh my God, these guys are fighters. I can only imagine some of the stuff she shouts at the football. You know what I mean?
Aye, to be fair, see when you're talking obviously about taking folk that obviously they get it and that. My mate, he's actually my neighbour, but him and his brother-in-law, right, Celtic fans, brother big, had never been to a game. Had just that for whatever reason they couldn't get tickets, and so they'd been to the women's games and that, but hadn't been to like the first team. So I think it was St Mirren. I think we played St Mirren a couple of years ago, and I got them tickets for it. So I went up with them, and in the game, and one of the boys' dad, he was a mad Celtic fan, and he had his dad's scarf on, and he's obviously pulling it and all that. It's typical Celtic, man. But 85 minutes, still nothing each, and I'm turning around to the two as you do. You're like, you're a jinx, man. You're not coming back with me. So the boys he's got his scarf like that, and he's holding it, and bang, 88th minute or something like that. We scored. I 1-0. Place erupts. Obviously, way back down the road, talking about it and that, and then I got a text that night saying, thanks very much for that, mate, blah, blah, blah. I can't believe I was part of that night, this, that, and the next thing. So, for things like that, you know what I mean, that kind of makes it worthwhile, do you know what I mean? And taking folk to get to experience it and sharing those kind of moments with them, I think that's brilliant as well. It's just as good as obviously you experiencing it, but
Aye, see, for us, we're very, very fortunate that we live. Well, I'm right, and you're fortunate. No, you don't live that far from Celtic Park, but I am very, very fortunate that I can walk up my street and it's basically there. You know what I mean?
It's there, aye.
And I never forget that. And I always say to people as well. People go, "Oh, it was 3 years on a bus to get here." I said, "Guys are coming from Ireland. Guys are coming from London and all that." I said, think about that, and they're travelling every day. So I never forget that I'm very lucky, very fortunate, but also, when it really hits you home is when you meet somebody from like Canada or America, who have been Celtic fans all their life because their dad immigrated, and they've been Celtic fans all their life, but their families immigrated, and they don't know, they've never been inside Celtic Park, or they've never been to Glasgow, or they've been, but they've never been anywhere near the ground because it was always came when the season finished, or they didn't have opportunity, like your two guys there you were talking about. But there's a guy, Norm Peters is his name. The reason I always remember his name because it's the same name as the guy that was in Cheers, the telly programme. And Norm was there, mate, and there was a game at the Glasgow Green, so Colville Park were playing at Glasgow Green, and we walked up for Glasgow Green, and you come round onto like that new road now for the train station, you can see Celtic Park. And he seen Celtic Park, and he started doing something. I'm going, what's wrong with this guy? Something wrong with him? But he was just all gone. He was all emotional because it's the first time he'd seen Celtic Park. He'd never seen it in his own eyes.
And then that's it there.
We went to it and we won. And he was here for a couple of, I think he was here for about a week. But we played Partick Thistle that night. Remember, it was everybody had all the old banners and all that up right, for home. We got my ticket for that and all, man, and he was over the moon, right? But that's not the best yet. We goes into the Squirrel and he's arguing with a guy. And I'm like, oh my God. And Michael's like, calm down, what is it? He's like, no, I've been trying to get hold of him all week. All right, she's staying. Like, no, that's his mate from Canada. The two of them decided to come here at the exact same time. And they met each other, they bumped into each other in the pub after the game, man. So, brilliant. And the two of them were like, it was like, they were all excited. They were still buzzing after that game. And that's how I go. I don't take for granted, mate, that I am very fortunate to have been able to go to all the Celtic games I've been to, and all the ones still to come.
Well, that's it.
It's so grateful, and I love it. I'll never stop loving it, mate. Never.
Like one of the boys that I was talking about there took him to a Champions League game, and it was just know what it's like when the teams come out and that, the banner's about to get shoot in the middle, and the full place just erupts. So I'm like to him, wait to hear this, and he's like, what? And I go, just wait to hear this. And obviously, Anthem plays, banner starts going in the centre circle, the full place just erupts, and you just look at him, and you can just see that obviously you're just taking it all in, but you're taken aback by the noise, and then obviously things like that, just it's brilliant. But like you said, taken for granted. Obviously, I keep trying to remind Aidan, I goes, you're lucky, and I respect that me and your mum and your uncles have got season tickets, so you're in a fortunate position that you can go to these games, whereas a lot of boys your age can't. Do you know what I mean? He's been to cup finals, he's been to semi-finals, he's been to away games, he's been to trophy days. Do you know what I mean? He's been to derbies, so, and he's only 6. So I just keep reminding him that, by the way, 1, it's not always as good as that, and 2, you're lucky to get these tickets because, as I said, a lot of folk don't get the chance to, or obviously can't for whatever reason.
Aye. Yeah, it is, and no, it's only getting harder. It is getting harder. We see that year in year. Trying to get tickets for away games and things like that, and even trying to get people who are on a waiting list, after the waiting list, or into the games, and that's unfortunate. That's the nature of the beast. Where we've not got the 80,000, 100,000 stadium, but at that, I always say that stadium, it does need a wee bit of upgrade. It needs a bit of TLC, but realistically, is it? Would we add another 25,000 seats in there? Would they get filled every week, mate? I wouldn't like to see the banners coming back, Connor. I hated that. I actually hated that.
Mate. I know, but like sir, you know what it's like, man. We start up in the old 4-4-4. It was, you had about 10 seats either side of you at times. You know what I mean? You're playing on a Saturday as well at 3 o'clock, and it's a obviously they've shut the waiting list down, but I think it will take a good few years no winning anything for that to die down again. To be honest with you, obviously,
that's not going to happen anytime soon. Hopefully, mate, that's not happening anytime soon.
I hope it doesn't. I hope it never does. Do you know what I mean? I was talking to one of the boys that's actually on the waiting list, and it was like, I would rather just not get a ticket and just keep winning. Because that's the example I gave to him. I goes, mate, you'll not get a ticket until we start going through a bad patch. And he goes, I'd rather we keep winning and not have a season ticket. You know what I mean? So it's the demands here, and the board know that. You know what I mean? As soon as me or you give our book up, you know what I mean? They've got another 10,000 folk behind that's going to snap it up in a minute. So.
Aye, always, mate. That's the same with away tickets, and that's how a boycott for an away game wouldn't work, mate. Because see, for every guy who says I'm not going, we've got 10 people like you and me who say they will be going, who are desperate to go to the games. You know what I mean? Aye. So, on that, mate. Looking forward, what's your goal for the end of the season? What is your main? What would you want to see come the end of the season? What would you like us to have done?
Well, first, obviously, win the league. That's the be all and end all, win it your season. You set out to win the league. Obviously, get a wee cup double in there. See what happens in the Scottish. But for me, qualify out of the league in the Europa League, win the league, and obviously win the cup on Sunday. So you're walking away with a double, and you're getting another game. You're getting an extra game in Europe. See where we go for there. You know what I mean? But
I would be happy with that, mate. I would be happy with that. I'm always, my glass is always half full, never half empty. Mm-hmm. And my outlook for the season, at the start of the season, aims and objective is to win the league. I don't really bother about it. Don't really bother about anything else, but just win the league, mate. But Connor, thanks very much, mate, for giving us your time. Spent on a wee bit, but that's what happens when you talk of football.
And just for others.
No problem, mate. And hopefully we'll get you on maybe next time talk about match day stuff once we go live with the actual podcast in general. Now it's just stories, and now we're getting more people on. So if you know anybody that's looking to get on, mate, I want to tell us about their Celtic experience, get them in touch with us. But until the next time, mate, thanks very much, and I'll catch you later on.
Cheers, mate.